everything was European background. The upbringing, the teaching in school. But my father was a pastor, you know, a pastor. And everything had to be English. We were not even allowed to speak our country's language in schools. And they called the language, they called our own languages vernacular. So English was the real language you had to speak in school, so everything was English. With what we were taught in schools, nobody was thinking of whether to be African or not. We just accepted that we were English, and anybody that went to England for studies was a master, you know. So everybody wants to go to England, come back home to be master, you know. So I never thought about it, being African as such, you know. So it didn't mean anything to me until much later in my life. It was in England I started to feel the awareness of having to be an African, because for the first time I came to England, I started to feel, oh wow, so these white people don't like us too much. You know, this is my experience from having to rent rooms, you know. I had so much, at that time you read the newspapers in England, house for rent, no coloreds, no dogs, and all this. That annoyed me a lot, and not many students, you know. So at my student days in England, I started to be aware of having to be an African. But we had nothing to offer as Africans because we were all just taught English. Like one of the latest songs I'm singing now, I said, teacher, don't teach me nonsense. Right. Now I was trying to let my people see, because in Africa people respect teachers. You know, teachers because they teach English and they teach their pupils, you know. Respect teachers and pastors, you know, in Africa. So, okay, now I saw that I should now use teacher as my focus. So I said, I titled the song, Teacher, Don't Teach Me Nonsense. Now, I now wove this song into letting the people see that the white men have taught us everything we know. But I made people see also that one important thing they taught us was politics. Because I wove in the song to the elections in Nigeria, because it was a farce. Now I mentioned democracy. Now in English, an Englishman will say democracy. But if the African man wants to say it in broken, he will say democracy. You see now. I never thought of the word. I said crazy. That's, now I saw craziness. I said I could now see let my people see that democracy really is not that word, that it's really madness, you know. So I said, now I started to sing. I said, I start to think of this word democracy. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Crazy demonstration. Then I went a little bit serious, because I know that people will laugh at that when they hear that. Then I went a little bit serious. I said, now, if it's not crazy, why that in Africa, as time goes forward, things is getting worse. Poor man, they cry. Rich man, they mess. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Then I ended up, you know, to fuck the minds of the colonialists up, I said, if good teacher teach something, if a good teacher teaches something, and a student make mistake, teacher must tell him that he's making mistake.
There were 5 original clans of the Igbo: Aja, Insu, Huru, Irina, and Indu. This falling to the period of the Iron Age and Bronze Age period, respectively. The Benis are the Hindu, and they were the last of the clans of the Igbo. There was no monarchy in Hindu until the return of Ouwarre, now known as Oromiyo, who was sent by his father Oduduwa to the students of flowers and professors. We shall now go back to his ancestral homeland. After a caladere interregnum, being too old and settled to return, Ouwarre from Oyo Igbo married an Hindu woman and could no longer tolerate the bitterness and rancorous nature of his homeland. He left and returned to Oyo Igbo and called Hindu Bini, meaning the land of angry people, and thus the corruption Benin today. Stripped out of the language of the Olukumi, he left behind a son who became Emeka, who began the current Emeka dynasty, thus ending Ojiso dynasty, 38 of them from Bini dynastic records. The Emeka has from then on produced 35 successors, almost as long as the Oliseh, but it was this rupture in Bini history that reshaped Bini tradition and history for up to the last Oliseh. None became Oliseh until he received the offer na Allah from Eze Eri on Ejiogu. Prove this and also prove that Oba was an Ozo title. Bini kings also took Eze and Obi titles. Ouwarre and his son Ozo Ouwarre, for instance, who fought the civil wars that drove the Igbos, led by their leader Eze Chima, from Bini back to their original homeland, eastward in Biafra or Biafra, wore Ozo anklet. Eze Chima and his group had led an attempt to reform Hindu from the monarchy to a republican society. And call for more public involvement in the affairs of Hindu, thus setting the stage of public revolt that led to the civil war. Ozo Ouwarre resisted the attempt to veto his power. Thus did the war commence among those who left Bini, include the Abam warriors, who had always been inheritors of Kamalus Hamadioha war mandate. You could still see the path of there from Hindu through Ukwane, Nionu to Inyu, Indoni, in Igweocha, now River State, to Abam / Abriba / Hoafia. You hear a Kwale or Indoni person speak today, it still sounds like the Hoafia language. You hear an Agbo or Afikpo or Imbise men speak today, and you hear the same inflection. You trace the footprint of the Umbulu to Oku / Umbulu / Uhuru / Uvuru Imbise, and you hear the tradition and so on. The returnees always knew where they were going. They were returning home from a place still called Undo today in Bini. The ancient Igbo settlement in Indu till forever. You still hear people bear the Igbo names like Echejile, Iweka, aka Emeka, in Bini till tomorrow. The Hindu market days still remain Afo, Nkwo, Eke, Oye. To know a people, look at their market. It is an ancient. By the way, the Egugu, meaning Igbo warriors, whose Ongbere discovered in Ife Igbo did not fly across Bini to terrorize Ife Igbo. It is also not nothing that the river goddess to which she appealed for knowledge and strength. It is called Oshimiri. The Igbo have always operated in that theater of history, and the history conurbation Bini to Igala to Indu to Indoma. The Igbo have always been a pendulum time. The material culture is a proof. Anybody who wants to know should listen closely to Igbo parable and folklore. The Igbo always had a tradition of Ijealo, the right of return. If an Igbo feels threatened in his new habitation, he runs homewards to Igbo land, the only place is being protected by the sacred kinship of Umoina. To the readers and students, Umu means children of, and Ina means father. Ezechima and his party, including the protective party of warriors who left Hindu, they were returning to their homeland. Some made it some, like Ezechima, died of old age before he could return. His party descendants became those Igbo we now call Ezechima to this very day, and you still see same pattern till date. Wherever the Igbo are treating, they move eastwards